Welcome to our Tech with Heart episode this month. I am Michelle Calloway, your host, and today we are going to be talking about your creative expression and how important that is not only in life, but in business, and how you can unleash your best creative expression to allow wonderful blessings to pour over you. And with me today, I have a very special guest, Robin DeGroot. Thank you so much for joining us, Robin. Let me quickly introduce you, and then I'd love for you to share a little bit about what you're doing. So Robin is a coach, trainer, speaker, author, artist, and therapist. She's done bioenergy, hypnosis, and massage. And through her coaching, training, and mastermind, her clients release negative, emotional, and energetic blocks that awaken their gifts, talents, dreams, and purpose. Now, doesn't that sound like something we could all use? So let me welcome with me, I should say, Robin, to the Tech with Heart platform. Thank you so much for joining us today, Robin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So share with us a little bit about how you got started in this releasing the creative expression energies and stuff like that.
Sure. Well, my original degree in university was in fine art, and I had this talent since I was quite young, actually. But then once I had my daughter and I went into teaching and all kinds of things, I kind of really lost touch with the art and found myself getting depressed. I also had a hormone condition, so it was like health things compounded with life things. And I kind of was just no hope anymore. So once I left teaching and I went back into health things to figure out my own problems, I started to feel a lot better. But then it was still like something was missing. So I knew that I had to get back to doing my own art and dancing, which I really like to do, but just this other goal that's like a creative direction. So I've actually transformed my coaching now to be that the cleansing or the releasing of these blocks, which is done in the therapeutic sense, ends up leading towards the main goal, which is to find your unique purpose and your talents and really get that going. Because I think this hope and the goal is an even more powerful thing than working on the detracting. So having something to look forward to and get it out of you.
So what is the number one problem that you're seeing that business owners are having that you're able to help with in this regard?
I think they get stuck in, I would say, details because there's all the programs you're trying to make and the like basically technology, you're trying to learn all these different platforms and make sure you're doing all the different components, but then you really don't have room for creative innovation. And you have to make your idea that you want to present in all the technological ways or whatever it is. But I think people get lost in the details and they don't end up remembering how to feel good about what they're bringing to someone else that is new and different. And there's something about lack of confidence and mistrusting your own gifts, basically. So I think when I find that I release some of these negative things, which are from old stories, and you're telling yourself because people have told you before, then you start to be more confident in that thing that you do that no one else really can do.
So can you paint a picture for us? Like what has, paint a scenario of somebody that you've really helped unblock and what that meant for them and what happened afterwards in the business sector, like in the business realm?
Yeah, I would say it was someone who was working to get their book done. And on the way to be doing that, they were working on a speech. So in the speaking world, you need to make your speech, you need to memorize it, you need to be able to say it with all your feeling. And if you don't believe in what you're saying, then that becomes a problem. So first of all, to write that becomes an issue. And I find with writing, like the writer's block thing is very real. And it happens when your just mind is spinning into something else, like you've got to do all these other responsibilities and everyday cash flow. So it gets hard to focus in on the original creativity that you're trying to make. So when I do energy work with people, that's a very easy, good step to start with, because some people, they don't do too well with hypnotherapy right away because their conscious mind is very strong and it doesn't really want to allow whatever the old things are underneath to actually get out and say something. So the body talks, and that's kind of like somatic body work. But with energy work, it's really just me cleansing in front of the chakras. And the chakras are all related to different parts of your body and your life. And especially the throat chakra is very creative and it's about expression, but it's also about when people have told you things and you don't believe in yourself. So the confidence is kind of stuck in there. And even your solar plexus, that's about your power too. So I work with those. And when I've worked with those with the person who couldn't really finish their book and their speech, then once I had done the first session, they already were able to start writing the speech. And by the time I get through like 4 sessions, you've kind of unlayered a whole bunch of things. And some people cry in the session and they just let it out, or their body moves and it kind of moves through this. It's kind of like a self-healing process. And by the end, they were at least halfway through the book. So I was very happy to see that. Getting
That's
the
really,
writer's
really
block gone.
That's really a cool talent that you have, Robin, because boy, howdy, I sure wish that we all had the power of just being able to like snap our fingers and reprogram our brain or open up what you're calling chakras, or just those people who have studied this. I know in the Bay Area where I live, there's a lot of people doing things like NLP, tapping, different techniques that our brains are so complex. I mean, when I first entered the entrepreneurial space, I just thought I needed to like learn how to draw, create a business plan, just create a marketing strategy, and build my product or service and like go out and just do it. And I'm learning so much more about how important this little thing here is that if we are have limited beliefs in ourselves, or we have insecurities or lack confidence, or there's just so many things on an emotional, spiritual, mental level that we really need to address as entrepreneurs. Otherwise, we could be totally limiting our own success. So this is really a great interview here, because this is stuff that we all need to be aware of. And just being aware that there's a problem is one thing, but then taking it to the next level and going and seeking to work with somebody like yourself to help unleash those barriers is so huge. So what would it look like for any one of our audience members to possibly come and get some help with unleashing, or unlocking, I should say, some of these?
Well, I do find that once somebody knows that they're in this position, that they're like, I know something's in there and something's blocking me, like that's already a huge step. It's almost like the 12-step type of things, where the admitting you have a problem is the first thing. And I know for hypnotherapy, that's extremely important. Like you need to be an enthusiastic and willing and open client or recipient, basically, so that you're not like trying to be skeptical and test the person. That just sets you back. So the openness is a huge thing. And for me, I have so many levels of ways to work with me. And I always say, just start with like an hour and we go online and we start to have the history, kind of, just to see where you're at, what kind of led to that point, and where you want to be. So then after that, if you're anywhere close to me, I could work in person with people, or I could possibly go to them and then see if you could do a few sessions in a row. That's usually the most effective. But a lot of times people find really good success even with one thing. So one time really going intensively can be awesome as well. But I find the body works like an onion, like it's the layering thing. So your most distressing things will come up first and we deal with them. And then you actually get to the deeper things a little bit more consecutively if you're working with any kind of therapies that are going below and below in your emotional system and emotional, mental, physical. This is all the holistic triad, but basically I find energy kind of falls in with emotions most of the time, and memory too. So a lot of times your memories are based on really strong emotions. So in hypnotherapy, we can work with that because memory will often be tied to emotion. And it could be blocked out, actually, because it was too strong when you were younger or something like that, the event. So, but I really encourage and promote self-energization. So this is through meditation, it's through Qigong and yoga. These are all kind of energetic modalities so that you are actually enhancing your ability to connect with energy. And everyone has the possibility to do it. Even what I do, everyone has the possibility to do that. I have learned that the way that I feel energy is usually through heat, kind of. So some people see it more, some people feel it. They'll feel it in cold vacuum type of things or whatever. But I do train people in that method that I learned in Vancouver. And I always encourage people to be working on their own self-development with some of these energetic tools, because that actually does a lot of your own self-healing too. So if you're feeling like you're frantic and you need to get something done and there's a deadline, whatever, I actually tell people to pull back and meditate for 10 minutes and just try to quiet your mind, because your mind is taking over your whole self instead of you are like the master of your mind.
So is that something that you could like, I know maybe not devote 10 minutes to it, but is there like some like tips that you can even share with our listeners right now as far as how to kind of take themselves into a state of meditation?
Sure. Yeah.
Because boy, I know there's a lot of people in this Tech with Heart network that are speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Some are
Yeah.
indeed authors, but even business owners need to know how to present themselves. And if you're very unfamiliar with the presentation arena and you're just a little, well, quite a bit nervous probably of doing it, club up, you want to come across professional. Could you take us through some of the steps that you do to
Sure.
help kind of get into that state of meditation?
And I do really recommend this before speaking, because I have always been really nervous before speaking all of my life. And actually, I spoke when I was in like 5th grade, and I went pretty far in those speaking contests. I won the whole provincial thing, but I was so nervous. And at one point I took some homeopathic remedies, but I took so much that it was like there's an alcoholic base. So I was just so dry. And then I learned, oh, I have to do a breathing thing, because that was not good when I was so dry. So the most effective type of breathing that I have found that helps people meditate is to kind of count and take the in breath through your nose, and it's going to be a belly breath. So you're trying to get the air to go into your nose and into your belly and make a big round belly. So there I was counting to like 3 or 4, and then you try to hold it for 3 or 4. So it'll be, and then you blow out through your mouth and just kind of like let your lips be relaxed. So it'll be, and don't worry about people hearing you and all that kind of stuff, because the blowing out through your mouth does something special as well. So it's actually kind of specific to do it that way. And then you just keep doing that. So you try to get it slow, and you try to do a really long exhale. So that could almost be more than the 3 or 4 seconds. And eventually you don't have to count, but you're breathing in through your nose, filling the belly and holding it for a few seconds, and then breathing out through your mouth. Now, I use this in 2 ways. Sometimes I will do a visualization, so I kind of let my mind wander. And that's kind of fun for creative inspiration. And it's kind of like you're hearing your guides or those type of things, or what your inner self is telling you. And other times I'm actually trying to discipline my mind a little bit, and I try to think of the breathing only, which is really hard for me. So I have a very active mind. And if I do find that thoughts are coming in those 10 minutes I try to do that, then I have to say, oh, interesting thought. Now go out again and go back to the breathing. So you can't beat yourself up about it, but basically, those are 2 ways. I actually try to do the 10-minute breathing only first, and then breathing with the visualization 10 minutes after that, if I have the time. Sorry. So that is, it could be different times in the day, or it could be both at once in the morning if you can do it. Because if you do it in the morning, it really sets up your day for... it's kind of like you're ready to take on the day. So I do recommend the practice in the morning of trying to do something that is really slowing things down, preparing you, making you feel relaxed and good, basically.
Wow, thank you so much for taking us through that, Robin. I think everybody needs this. And that's why I was so excited to be able to share this with my Tech with Heart audience. We're always about empowering businesses to be successful in a digital era, even though this has nothing to do with technology per se. We all do need to stop and do these cleansing breaths and reset ourselves. I just did a social media post about how important just rest is, taking a day of rest, and how important what does that look like? Maybe a day where you're not doing any actual like work. Maybe you're just recreating and just letting your mind rest. It's so important. We entrepreneurs tend to really push the envelope, work incredibly long hours because we're so on fire for our purpose and our passion, but we do need to do self-care, and that's so important, right?
I totally agree. And some people have to schedule the rest in. That's okay too. You gotta do it.
Yeah, because sometimes if you don't schedule it, you'll just kind of, barrel through, and then you'll burn out. And this is all about avoiding burnout. This is all about unlocking limited receptors, right, to be able to experience that success that we're all striving for. And we just want to get out of our own way. So let's talk a little bit more. So we did meditation. You mentioned about hypnosis, bioenergy, and massage. I'm really interested in the massage thing. So what does that look like? Massage.
So I do the two main like worlds of massage, which are Eastern and Western. So Western, mostly people know the most, I guess. You're on the table that is higher, and it came from I think gymnastics coaches in Germany. So it was more about the muscles and gliding with oils. And then the other type of massage is really Eastern, and that's in the shiatsu realm and Thai massage. So in that case, you're often on a mat on the floor and you're clothed. So this is a lot more compression styles where there's compression, there's stretching. So those are the biggest components. And always in any type of massage, they're encouraging you to breathe. And the therapist itself needs to breathe, because it keeps you active for much longer, and the longevity is there then. So I actually feel like touch is so important.
Yeah.
And some people who can't even receive touch in the beginning, they actually should go through some other type of things like the energy work, because it isn't real touch. So, but to be able to receive touch again, if you can't, is a good goal because it's so important for us, just like when we were children and we were hugged and skin to skin. All of this is really important in our development and basically our confidence. Like, you know, you're loved and you know that you are here to do something important. So when people come for massage only, I'm always just like, that's good. That's a good start because you're giving yourself something to really kind of nurture yourself. And I've done massage only for many years. So it's more like a little bit like maintenance. So people are keeping themselves from going crazy and they're just keeping their bodies limber because the stretching aspect and on your skin is very good for your muscles. You also release a lot of lactic acid when you're having a massage. So all those things are good. Now, I've tried to incorporate it more into a program these days so that the massage actually relaxes you, loosens you up. The energy work gets deeper, and hypnotherapy can also be a way to get deeper, just to really get to the bottom of some of the old chronic things for people. So I want to do a little more than maintenance now. And it doesn't mean that people won't receive deeper things with massage because they can. And there's Reiki. Reiki is an energetic modality where you are on the table. It's a little different than the modality I do because people are standing and seated. And then I can access the back and front of the chakras better. But I combine them often with some massage and then the energy work. So I just think if you're getting massages once a week or even once a month, that's awesome because that's a very good start. It's very healthy for you. And if you've never looked into Eastern style massages, I definitely recommend it. It's also about the energetic system rather than the muscles as much. So in that case, you will be working with an energetic level and you're kind of passive. So that's always nice. Well, Thai massage, you're not very passive, actually. It's very stretchy and almost gymnasticsy. So you're pretty active in Thai massage, and the therapist is as well. So those are my suggestions.
No, these are great suggestions because I love the fact that you understand and know that, yeah, one maintenance massage is a good thing, not shutting that down or not, but you're able to do much more like handling because we are a whole being. We're not just touch. We're not just a physical being. We have like this whole spiritual, mental, physical. We need to be addressing and spiritual, right? So we need to address all of those: emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical. So I like the fact that you're handling it as a whole body approach. And I love that what you do brings a sense of well-being, because if we have a sense of well-being in all of those realms, we could like take on the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Get your gifts. That's why I just call it gifts, but basically it could be so many things. Like some people, it's tech. That's their gift. And I am not really good at that, but it's important. And
So,
it's
Robin,
awesome.
how does one get a hold of you? Where are you located, and how can they reach out and see if they can, benefit from your services?
Well, the best thing is to email me, but all the information is on my website, which is my name. It's Robin, ROBINM, DeGroot, DEGROOT.com. And then the email is the same. So it's Robin at RobinMDeGroot.com. And the best thing I think would be to email. If you do call, I have the phone number 650-752-8949. But you must leave a message because that number gets a lot of marketing and things like that. So I always screen it. So I really don't answer it right away. So I think email's a little better. And you could see the services on my site, and you could go in the appointment section. It just says some of the choices. And you could always just go for just say, hey, I'd like to have a call. And I'm totally open with that because I would like to see where you're at and if you're near me. So I'm in Tucson, Arizona, most of the month. I still go back to California, San Francisco Bay Area, because I lived there for 20 years and I've recently moved to Tucson. So I have more room in Tucson, so I like to do the in-person work there. But if it's more about a connection call, I can do that in either place. And sometimes I can come to you, but I can't host as much in San Francisco area. So that's the situation right now.
Yeah, well, that's okay because I mean, you even mentioned that you might be able to help somebody virtually, right? So you could
Yeah.
potentially help them over the phone or over a video conference. It just would be good if you're interested at all in learning a little bit more about how you can help yourself or help Robin guide you towards unlocking layers that are keeping you from your best self or your best success. Please reach out to her. I put her website on the screen, but it's Robin M. DeGroot, DeGroot.com. Or like she said, Robin at RobinMDeGroot.com for her email. And I want to thank you, Robin, for sharing all of your amazingness today with us on the Tech with Heart Network. And I also wanted to, for those of you who are listening or watching, if you are interested in perhaps sharing your expertise with our Tech with Heart audience, please reach out to me at techwithheartnetwork.com or join our mailing list at techwithheartnetwork.com or visit us on Facebook at Tech with Heart Network. And we would be more than delighted to have a conversation to see if you're a good fit. But we're also always interested in finding more partners who bring value to the entrepreneurial space because we're all about helping business owners reach success in a digital era. So if you have any tech components or anything like that that you find that you're using that is just absolutely slaying your competitors or helping you to stay relevant and competitive, we love to hear from you. We'd love to share that. This is a safe place for us to ask good questions without feeling like, there's no wrong question and there's no dumb questions. We want everybody to feel safe. We are building a huge, warm, heart-centered referral network. So please feel free to join us online or on Facebook. We'd love to have you. And thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you would like to also be made aware of when we're bringing other experts to the Tech with Heart Network to share valuable insights on how to be successful, just join our mailing list there at techwithheartnetwork.com. So thank you so much, Robin, for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, until next time, have a great rest of your week, and here's to your success. Bye.
Bye-bye.